So you're aiming high on the IELTS, but that jump from a band 7 to a band 8, wow, it can feel like you've hit a brick wall, right? It's like the final, steepest part of the climb. Well, today, we're not just giving you a map. We're giving you the step-by-step strategic guide to get you right to the top. Does this sound like you? You practice like crazy, you study all the time, but your score just seems to be stuck at that 7.0 or 7.5. Trust me, you are so not alone. This is what we call the Band 7 plateau, and it's super common for really good English speakers who have a solid handle on the language, but are just missing a few key pieces of the puzzle to get that expert level score. And this is the most important thing you need to hear today. Breaking through that plateau isn't about memorizing more vocabulary. It's about shifting your mindset from just using English to strategically mastering the exam itself. It's a whole new ballgame, one that's all about precision and strategy. And don't worry, we're about to show you exactly how to play it. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to figure out why you might be stuck. Then, we'll get super clear on what a Band 8 actually looks like. After that, we'll lay out a strategic roadmap, dive into specific tactics for each section of the test, and finish up with how to nail it on test day. All right, Section 1, the Band 7 plateau. Let's get to the bottom of why you're stuck. You know, the frustrating thing is, it's usually not because your English is bad. It's because your English is actually pretty darn good, just not expert level yet. So let's get into the big 3 reasons. First, safe language. This is when you use grammar and vocabulary that you're comfortable with, so you don't show off your full range. Then there are repeated errors, those tiny little mistakes that you've been making for so long you don't even hear them anymore. And finally, weak development. This is huge in writing. It's when you list a bunch of ideas but don't really explain any of them. These are the invisible walls holding you back. Okay, so if we're going to hit a target, we've got to know exactly what it looks like, right? So what's the real difference between a good user and an expert user in the eyes of an IELTS examiner? At Band 7, you're officially called a good user, and that's great. It means you can communicate well, you can talk about complex stuff, and a lot of your sentences are perfect. But, and this is the big but, you still have some inaccuracies and mistakes that show up here and there. But now, look at the leap to Band 8. You're not just a good user anymore, you're an expert user. You have a full command of the language. And your errors? They're not just occasional, they're unsystematic. What does that mean? It means they're basically slips of the tongue, not a real pattern of mistakes. You don't just understand arguments, you can handle them like a pro. And these are the tiny details the examiner is trained to spot. Check out the vocabulary difference. You go from just being aware of style to skillfully using words to get your exact meaning across. Or in speaking, this is a big one. At Band 7, you might pause to find the right word. At Band 8, you're only pausing to think about what you want to say. See the difference? These little things, they're everything. Okay, enough about the problem. Let's talk solutions. We know what a Band 7 is, and we know what a Band 8 looks like. Now, let's build the bridge to get you from one to the other. Look, this is not about just randomly doing practice tests over and over again. It's a focused 3-phase plan. For the first month, you're a detective. You find and fix your old mistakes. The second month, you upgrade your toolkit with more advanced language. And in the final month, it's all about mastering your performance under pressure. A structured plan is what makes all the difference. You want to know the biggest mistake students make? They just take test after test. That's not learning, that's just testing yourself. The real key is this feedback loop. Every single time you make a mistake, you have to figure out the root cause. Why did you get it wrong? Was it a vocabulary issue, a strategy problem? Once you know the why, you can focus on that one specific weakness until it's completely fixed. That's how you make real progress. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. I'm going to give you some high-impact strategies for each part of the test, the little technical details that add up to a big score increase. Okay, for writing, listen up, because this is the #1 thing holding people back. A Band 7 essay often lists a few good ideas, but a Band 8 essay, it takes just 1 or 2 powerful ideas and explores them really, really deeply. Why? Because that shows you can think analytically, which is a hallmark of a Band 8 candidate. It's all about depth over breadth. And here's the secret recipe for building that depth. Seriously, use this 4-step structure for your paragraphs. First, state your main point clearly. Then, explain why it's true. Next, give a specific example to back it up. And finally, link it all back to your main argument. This simple formula is a total game changer. When it comes to speaking, a lot of people think a Band 8 performance is about using huge, complicated words. It's not. It's about sounding natural and in control. It's about using discourse markers, phrases like having said that or to be honest, to connect your thoughts logically. It's about having smart strategies like the past, present, future method, so you can extend your answers without just rambling on and on. For listening and reading, you got to put on your detective hat. The examiners love to set traps. There's the correction trap, where someone says one thing, like a time, and then immediately corrects themselves. And then there's the qualifier trap, which tests if you're paying close attention. Did the text say all students or most students? Those little words change everything. You have to actively hunt for these tricks. Okay, so you can have all the knowledge and skills in the world, right? But if you can't deliver on test day when the pressure is on, it all falls apart. So let's talk about execution. Let's talk time. And I don't just mean working faster, I mean working smarter. In the reading section, the passages get harder as you go, so it makes sense to give yourself more time for that tough third passage. In writing, task 2 is worth twice as many points as task 1, so you have to guard those 40 minutes for it. This isn't just about speed, it's a strategy to make sure you have enough time where it counts the most. All right, here's a little pro tip, a secret weapon for your speaking test. What happens if your mind goes totally blank? Don't panic and go silent. Use a filler phrase just like this one. It's brilliant. It makes you sound thoughtful and fluent, and it buys your brain a few precious seconds to actually think of an answer. And for writing, right before you put down your pen, do this final sanity check. This checklist is based directly on what the examiners are looking for. Did you actually answer every single part of the question? Is your main point clear? Did you show off your language? That last 2-minute check can easily be the difference between a 7.5 and an 8.0. So, I'll leave you with this one last thought. Stop thinking of your IELTS prep as just practice. Start treating it like a data project. Your mistakes aren't you failing. No way. They are just data points, and that data is showing you a pattern. Once you find your pattern, you can fix it, and that's how you unlock that Band 8 score.